crafting journey here, that journey chick on Instagram. Got a great show for you today, and it is Friday. Happy dance. Ooh, I'm gonna stretch my back while I do it. Ooh, happy dance. I'm so happy it's Friday. But I thought yesterday was Friday because when I left work, I had to go straight to Joann's fabric store because they're having a big sale. It started yesterday, runs through the 7th. DMC floss. It's marked down. The regular price is anywhere from 60 cents to 79 cents, marked down to 45 cents, which it's only a few pennies, but you know, it's a sale. So I had to go. So the first thing I bought, not floss, but the same aisle. You know, I'm making that market bag. I needed plastic. I've been trying to describe what I needed to you guys, but I could never put a name to it. But it's called mesh, plastic canvas mesh, number 7. I guess there's different numbers of it, but I just need to cut out some and then put it between the 2 layers of what I've already crocheted, and then I can start the purse part. Yay, so we're happy for that. Yay. What else did I get? Okay, let me get my receipt so I can tell you guys. Look what I did at Joann's. Yes, the lady was so thrilled to just have to ring up all that floss. So what I did was I figured out the next 2 projects. Now, I don't know what year I'm going to get to these 2 projects, but one is the Wizard of Oz stitch along. So I got the thread that I needed for that. I compared it with what I already had. I actually made a spreadsheet of what I already had in floss, figured out what I needed for the Wizard of Oz, and then I figured out what I needed for the bookshelf temperature cross stitch that I'm going to host, you know, that stitch along next year. So that will again be with Marissa McCartney, the Crafty Heifer. So I figured out what I needed for those 2 projects. I figured, you know, what the heck, at 45 cents you might as well do it. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and show you guys. Let's see here. See, I got lots of floss. Lots of floss. But I also found in the clearance aisle this buttercream Luxe Craft. Now I don't know who makes this. It's it's a Joann. It's a Joann brand. Look at that. 80% acrylic, 20% alpaca. So it has a little bit of a halo, and it's super soft. It's a 6 weight. Was marked down to $4.97, but I paid with the sale $2.98. That's good. That's a good deal. I don't know what the original price was. Then I found this Comfy Cotton, Lion Brand Comfy Cotton. You know how I love this Comfy Cotton Lion Brand. And look at the color. Pink, of course, it's pink. Pinks and blues and purples, and it's really pretty. But it's a 4 weight. It's called Flower Garden, Jardin des Fleurs, if you're speaking a different language. Oh, it's a 3 weight? I never knew this was a 3 weight. Who knew? I've made a hat out of this before, and I really liked it. So I like that color. That ended up costing me, it was on clearance. It's regular $7.99. This was $4.79. This was on clearance. This was on sale. So a little bit of a difference there. Then I bought these. Oh, I don't want to drop the floss. I've got floss going everywhere. This chair. Oh my goodness. It's not the chair. It's the carpet that it's on. Anyway. Floss organizer, 36 sleeves. So you can put it on a little binder ring. So I'm gonna put that floss into these sleeves, or the ones I need for the projects. So there we go. So I spent was, total savings, they said $12.46. I spent $31.77 total. So we will put all that. Oh, I didn't show you the other thing I got. You're like, all that for that? No, one more thing. I found on clearance a Happy Planner journal. It's not, it's more for journaling. It's not really the normal planner. It was on clearance for $7.47, and then I got it for $5.60. So let me open it up and show you. Like, here's what the days look like. I don't know if you can see them. So you can write in what the date is, and then you can journal here, and then they have little questions that you can answer, like how you showed kindness to someone today. It has different sections. What challenge lies ahead that you can face this week? It's really cute. It's just divided into different sections, but it's kind of the same thing. A lot of places for notes, which I like. And it has all these beautiful floral designs in it, you know. So I thought that was a pretty good thing. And I love these rings, you know. It's worth it. It's got this beautiful cover, Happiness Blooms from Within. So it's called the Guided Happy Journal. So this is more for journaling than planning. And I might use it as a giveaway. I'm not, I might throw it into the next yarn giveaway. You never know. So I'll just put it aside there. So that's what added up to $31. Anyway, okay. So we're going to do some diamond painting while we chit chat. It is National Anisette Day. Allie says, which planner did you get? How does she know I bought a planner? This show is not live. Oh my goodness, what is going on my screen? I keep getting these pop-ups, you know, it's weird. Okay, so National Anisette Day. Anisette is a liqueur. It's from this anise seed. Anisette is meant to be sipped. If you just try to chug it, first of all, alcohol content is very high, and it'll burn your throat. It will irritate your throat. But the only way to describe this flavor to you, since this is strictly a visual show, is if you like black jelly beans or black licorice, that's anisette. So let me diamond paint while I talk. I don't care for it, but have you ever had those cookies, the pizzelles? They're round, and they're like almost look like a thin waffle, with a floral design. Those are made with anise or anisette. So yeah, bake cookies with it, but you can also, add it into your coffee or something like that. I only had one day to choose from today. This is not a big day for National Day. So National Anisette Day, how do you celebrate it? Have some anisette. Yeah, I'm going to pass. Yes, I am going to pass. This is one sticky canvas. I ordered a diamond painting last night I ordered a diamond painting. I am so super excited about this diamond painting. It's from Uniquely Yours Down Under, a new artist that I'm super pumped about. When I do the unboxing, you'll hear the whole story. I've also been in touch with the owner. She started following me on Instagram, so we've been chit-chatting back and forth. So I may even have a code for you guys when I do the unboxing. So, you might want to hold off on purchases until you have a code to get a discount. But the prices are really good. I'm amazed at the prices. And Mickey, Sunshine Creates, my bestie, she has also applied to be an affiliate. She may have a code for you as well. One of us will have a code. One or both of us will have a code. But she just raves about the drills quality. I did order it in squares because she says these squares are even better than Ever Moment. So I didn't know that was possible, but yeah. And as far as Treasure Studios Arts goes, my understanding is There will be a new release tomorrow. Hopefully I will get the artwork and the information later today, or I don't know, first thing tomorrow. I'll let you know, but it might be later today. So I'm excited about that. And it's an artist that we all know. So I can't say the name of the artist yet, but we all know the artist. We are familiar with his or her work. Anyhow, moving on. I didn't put the yarn away. I have been, when I go to work in the mornings, I close the craft room door. I can that's the door to the outside that you're seeing behind me, but there's another door back there that goes into the kitchen. So I close that door because I don't want the kittens, like, this would be a playground during the day, and God knows what mess I would come home to. Yesterday I came home and they were just out of their minds, happy to see me running and racing around here. Like, they probably slept all day is what I'm thinking. Like, mommy's gone, we're just gonna sleep until she gets back. Oh my God. That's okay. Breaking news. U.S. economy added 850,000 jobs last month as companies scramble to find workers. I understand that they're filling a lot of jobs with teenagers, that, as a temporary fix, because those teenagers are going to go back to school soon. Yeah, anyway, very off topic. What were we talking about? I don't know. So Allie is asking me, what planner did I get? How did she know I got a planner? Hold on. Oh, maybe she's not talking to me. Maybe I'm just feeling guilty. It's a big chat. So maybe somebody else got a planner. Oh, Christy. Christy got a new planner. Okay. I'm thinking, how did she know? Am I going live here? No. Anyway, what else is going on? Okay, let's just get right to the murder of FSU law professor Dan Markel, judge, jury, and journey. I got to say that part right. Do, 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 do. All right, that's out of the way. So, what was the verdict? You're like, we're waiting, Rebecca. What was the verdict? Okay, as you recall, there were two defendants, Sergio Garcia and Catherine Maganawa. Now, the jury was told that they would be sequestered if they could not reach a verdict by that evening. Well, they didn't get to get the case until late afternoon, so they judged. They were provided with dinner, and then they began deliberations. They were allowed to deliberate till 9 o'clock. They weren't done, so they were all taken, heavily escorted, to a hotel. And I have found an interview with a juror, so I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. So so they were brought back the next day. They deliberated. I think it was a total of 2 days, 2 nights that they spent in the hotel, from what I'm gathering. They came back the following day, and they kept sending questions back and forth to the judge. And the poor attorneys, they don't stay at the courthouse during deliberations, but they have to be fairly close by. So each time their phone would ring, they would have to run to the courthouse to hear the question. And you could tell from the questions that they were really struggling with some interpretations of the law. So then finally, that the late evening of the 2nd, they send a note to the judge that says, we have reached a verdict as to one defendant, and we are unable to reach a verdict as to another. How would you like us to handle this? We are deadlocked on this second defendant. So, but we don't know which defendant it is. So the judge So now, everybody's a buzz in the courtroom. Well, who's getting convicted and who's not getting convicted. So the judge decides. In Florida, there's what they call an Allen charge, and they all decide that they're going to give the Allen charge on the deadlock. So what that is the judge will read them a statement, and he'll tell them, here's what you do. You all sit down together. I'm going to send you back into the jury room. I want you to each one at a time stand up and talk to the other jurors and tell them, what it is what fact or issue it is that you're struggling with in order to make this decision, and you go around the room and see if you can reach the verdict. So just it's basically a way of saying, hey, just go give it one more try. So what he says is the judge decides is he's going to give this Allen charge. First, he's going to read the verdict as to whatever defendant it is, and then he's going to give the Allen charge to the jury and let them go back and deliberate on the other defendant. So they bring the jury out, and the verdict is read. The verdict was against Sergio Garcia. He was found guilty of first-degree murder. He was found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, and he was found not guilty of solicitation to commit murder. So the judge tells the jury, you're not done with this defendant because we still have the death penalty phase. So we're going to have you back for the death penalty phase next week. But first, and then he gives them the Allen charge. He says, I want you to go back and try again with your deliberations as to Catherine Magbanua. But I'm going to tell you, when this judge really, he tells people, he says, if anyone in the audience, and he's careful to say the audience, if anyone in the audience is going to express emotions or if you're over emotional and you can't, I don't want any outbursts. So when I read the verdict, so when he hadn't even, it hadn't even gotten out of his mouth. As soon as you heard that it was Sergio Garcia, Catherine Magbanua started sobbing. This is the father of her children. It's someone that she had been in love with since high school. She started sobbing, and she, according to a reporter, she leaned over and asked her attorney, are they going to kill him? And it was really sad. So she's sobbing the whole time the verdict is read, and so as they're taking Sergio Garcia out of the courtroom, he reaches out to her. He can't touch her, but he reaches towards her and he says, I love you. And then they take him out. I had to watch that a couple times. It made me cry. Oh my God. Anyway, so so the jury goes back and they continue their deliberations. They were there for maybe another half hour. They come back. They say, no, we're deadlocked on all counts. We cannot reach a decision. So the judge declared a mistrial as to Catherine Magbanua. So now what happens to Catherine Magbanua? She is in custody. The bail is too high for her to make. She's been in confinement for 3 years now. What happened? I just had a drill pop somewhere. Anyway, oh, there it is. She will be returned to jail pending a retrial. And as of today, they have not scheduled a retrial. That trial occurred in the summer of 2019. The judge set a date for October for a status conference, so he could set a trial date. And then in October, he was unable to set a trial date. I don't remember the reason. And then he said, come back in April. So she's still incarcerated. So in April, they came back and he couldn't set a trial date because of COVID. This was 2020 now. So she is still sitting in jail. Now, she did a motion. Her attorney filed a motion to have her released because of the COVID, on bond because of the COVID. And the juror that I listened to the interview with, she's followed the case very closely, and when she heard that Catherine Magbanua had moved to be released, she wrote a letter to the judge saying, "Don't do it. This woman will flee the country. Don't let her out of jail." And that's a pretty strong statement coming from a juror. So I don't know if it's because of the letter this woman wrote, but the juror wrote, but that motion was denied. So she is still sitting in jail. So now we're talking 5 years she's been in jail without a trial, or without a retrial. So if that ever has a retrial, I will let you know what happens. But and I'm writing. Look at my notes; they're all over the place because I forgot my little book yesterday. So this woman, this juror, she said she was speaking on behalf of all the jurors. She is a Tallahassee native, lived there all her life. So a lot of the places that they talked about, she was very familiar with. The fact that, well, we'll get to that. Anyway, she said she refused to identify herself, and the reason being, she says, the case is still going on. Obviously, they still got to try Catherine Magbanua, probably still try Charlie Adelson. This is what I would like to see: a trial that included Charlie Adelson and Catherine Magbanua. Now that would be a good trial. So this juror commented that she felt that Wendy Adelson's testimony was not credible. She knowing that she was attorney, she felt that all of her answers were very evasive. That things just weren't adding up. Like I said, this woman's very familiar with Tallahassee, and she said, the fact that she was going to the restaurant to meet her friend, but she needed to go to a liquor store, so she drove all the way out of her way to go by Dan Markel's house, the crime scene. This is the day of the crime, and then back to that to the ABC liquor store, and then back to that restaurant. She says she drove that way to go to the liquor store. Well, this juror points out she passed 3 liquor stores that were very much closer to the restaurant. Why did she do that? So she felt like it wasn't believable, and the jurors were kind of incensed that Wendy Adelson was granted immunity for her testimony. They did not like that at all. So the piece of evidence that really struck a nerve with the jurors, really stood out, was the bus video, the city bus video, showing, both Sergio Garcia and Luis Rivera, both before the murder and after the murder. Bus video captured them in this Prius in the time frame that fit the murder. That was really what kind of convinced them that Sergio was guilty. Including the testimony of Luis Rivera. The other witness that they felt was really strong was Charlie Adelson's former girlfriend. She felt that the testimony she gave was very damning, and it really was. The fact that he had these stacks of $100 bills laying around stapled, which is how this murder was paid for. We know, and so she felt that witness was pretty strong, and she too, this juror, she said all of us were, scratching our heads about why the Adelsons weren't on trial here. Yeah, and I'll give you my opinion on that later on. But here's what she described about the deliberations. She said, we weren't allowed to leave the courthouse till 9 o'clock at night, so we had to deliberate till 9 o'clock at night. Let me pick out another color. Then they woke us up at 5 a.m. so we could have breakfast before everybody else. Because we weren't allowed to be seen by everybody else. They didn't want anybody to know what hotel they were in. And then they were told if they didn't make a decision by Friday afternoon, they would have, the courthouse was closed on the weekend. They would have to spend the entire weekend sequestered individually in their hotel rooms. So they, but her comment was, by this time we were so invested in this case, we would have stayed the weekend if we needed to, which I thought was pretty insightful. She said, they were very hung up on Catherine Magbanua. They felt there was two people that just couldn't get past. They were hung up on the fact that there was no evidence that Catherine Magbanua went to get money from Charlie Adelson and then back to Sergio Garcia to pay him. They all searched their notes. They couldn't find anything like that. And there was one detective who was the sort of the cell phone analyst guy, and he had tracked all the movement of the day after the murder, people going here and there, but it was all on a demonstrative piece of paper, and they weren't given that because that wasn't put into evidence. So I think had they had that to look at, they probably could have seen, Catherine going towards Charlie Adelson's house and then back to Sergio Garcia, but they couldn't. They didn't have that to refer back to, and their memories weren't well enough to remember whether that actually happened, and none of their notes reflected it. So two people just said, I can't condemn her if we don't have evidence that she actually got this money from Charlie Adelson and then went and paid everybody. And she said that they debated the fate of Catherine Magbanua for anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. They spent just debating her fate. So and this juror was really sweet. She said she found out she was pregnant the day of jury selection. So she was sitting there fighting nausea, and but very interesting. But she said the reason she was a Tallahassee native, but the reason she didn't know that much about the time at the time of the murder, she hadn't heard much about it. It was she had just had her first child, and so she was kind of like in mommy baby mode and wasn't paying any attention to the media at that period of time, which I thought was interesting. So what else? So we don't know when or if any of the Adelsons will ever be put on trial for this. All of the commentators that I heard, reporters, analysts, legal analysts, colleagues, law colleagues of Professor Markell, they all said, clearly there was enough evidence to convict Charlie Adelson. But what they suspected is that the state attorney, they're only going to get one shot at this family. And once they charge them, the family's going to get really good lawyers. So they need to make sure they have all of their ducks in a row before they charge this family. And then interviews with the prosecutors, she really felt pretty strongly that the mother, Donna Adelson, was the ringleader of all this. She's the one that put all of this into motion. And they thought by arresting Catherine Magbanua that she would testify against the Adelsons, and she just has not done that. She has sat in jail for, like I said, 5 years and refuses to testify against the Adelsons. Now, I don't know what that's all about. I really don't. Why? I mean, she's got young children that she hasn't seen in 5 years, and I got to tell you, I'd be singing like a bird if I had 2 children I needed to get home to. Yeah, nope, she's sitting there, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's some end game that she has. I don't know. So that is that trial. Now, someone requested that I do the trial of Ronnie O'Neill, and this is a gentleman at a trial out of Tampa. He's charged with murder. He's defending himself, but the problem is none of the legal networks picked up the trial. I can only find bits and pieces of it. I mean, I'll look again and see if someone actually covered the whole trial. But the guy is representing himself, so and he's a hot mess. I started listening to his opening statement, and it's pretty wild. So let me see what that's all about. Let me see if some of the other networks are going to start a new trial. And if you guys have any suggestions for me, let me know. Yeah. So, what's going on this day in history? I found one that is actually very interesting. Elsa strengthens into a hurricane. Well, that's just what we need. Well, I'm not in Florida anymore, so I'm not worried about it. Thank God. Oh, I really hated hurricane season. Alrighty. Okay, so July 2nd was actually a very significant day in 1776. The Second Continental Congress voted on that day. They had voted earlier in June, and several states voted against independence from Britain. They said they were leaning in that direction, but they needed more time. I'm gathering that it was to get their constituents on board. So they decided, okay, we'll vote on this later on. So on July 2nd, they had another vote. They had 12 colonial delegations who voted in favor of the independence from Britain, and one who abstained, and that was New York. New York, what's wrong with you? So on July 2nd, it was voted that we would become independent from Britain. Now, John Adams wrote that July 2nd would be celebrated as the most memorable epoch in the history of America, because that's when we've all voted for this Day of Independence. But here's what happened. Thomas Jefferson took that resolution that they voted on and edited it into what we now know as the Declaration of Independence, which was adopted by Congress on July 4th. Same thing that they all voted for on July 2nd. So July 4th is when we celebrate our independence from Great Britain. But that's just when he finished editing the document and everybody signed it. So happy July 4th this weekend. I will be going live on July 4th. Yeah, I'm probably going to do something in the afternoon with the family. Although Malia has flown to Las Vegas to spend 2 weeks with her real mother. Not sure how I feel about that, because she'll come back with all these strange notions in her head from her mother. But I didn't. Did I say that out loud? Whoops. Yep. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get together. And July 3rd is my grandson's birthday. Yes, and he's getting a new car for his birthday. He doesn't watch the show, so he's not going to know that, but it is a surprise, so don't tell him. That's Kyle, he's my grandson by my daughter-in-law. He is Filipino descent, and he's such a sweet kid. He's a little devious, we've had little issues with him, trying to get away with stuff. He works at Firehouse Subs. He's going to be a senior this year. So I'm kind of proud of him for that. And so yeah, he's going to be getting a car. But the funny thing is he still has his learner's permit. He's got an appointment next week to get his driver's license. So he's going to have to wait like a few days before he can actually drive the car by himself. Poor thing. That's going to, can you imagine the angst that's going to cause? Oh, I want to drive my car. Anyway, so I have a busy weekend, but yes, you will get a show tomorrow. You will get a show on Sunday, July 4th. If you're not doing anything at 11 a.m. Central Time, come join me on my crafting journey live. Yes, I don't know what I'll be doing. We'll do something fun. Yes, okay. That is the show for today, guys. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. Share this with a friend, because crafting and crime is a lot of fun. It really is. I will sit here and listen to these trials while I'm diamond painting, and it makes the diamond painting go so much faster. Anyway, see y'all tomorrow. Oh, let's talk about tonight. I don't know if Jennifer Roberts is going live, DP Addiction Adventures. I have not heard. We know she has a new baby at home, a newborn, so we'll see about that. But Mickey Sunshine Creates, she's feeling better. She went through a couple of weeks with her fibro flare up, and now she told me yesterday nothing hurts, and I'm like, oh, thank God. So she'll be going live tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. So let's all join her and celebrate her pain-free time. Love you all. Bye.